Get out. My son deserves better than you. Victoria screamed, throwing more of my clothes into the rain. I stood on the driveway, watching as she ruined my things, a cruel smile on her face. The silk blouse James gave me for our anniversary landed in a muddy puddle. My name is Emma, and at 34, I was watching my mother-in-law of 8 years destroy my life. What she didn't know was that the security cameras I had installed a month ago were recording everything. "You're just a gold digger," she shouted over the storm. James finally sees the truth. She came out again, this time holding my jewelry box. My heart sank. My late mother's wedding ring was in there. "Victoria, please," I said calmly. "Let me pack my things." She laughed loudly. "Pack? You should crawl away with nothing, just like when you came here." Lightning lit up the sky as Victoria stood in the doorway of the home I'd lived in for years. Behind her, I saw James in his study, pretending not to see what was happening. Looking back, I should have seen this coming. Victoria had always disliked me. Lately, James had been distant too. Late nights at work. Secret phone calls. But I'd been focused on my job as a child psychologist, believing our marriage was strong. I was wrong. "Why are you doing this?" I asked if I already knew. Victoria never thought I was good enough. Now it looked like she had finally turned James against me. "Don't act innocent," she snapped, throwing my jewelry box to the ground. It popped open, and the contents spilled into the mud. I stepped forward to get my mother's ring. But then she said something that froze me. "James already signed the divorce papers. You get nothing, no money, no house, nothing," she said, almost gleefully. "You should have signed that prenup." The prenup. The one she pushed before the wedding. The one James said I didn't need to sign. The one that somehow reappeared last month, already signed with my name. I looked up at the tiny red light of the hidden camera by the porch. A month ago, things had started feeling off. That's when I installed the cameras, with sound recording too. What they captured was enough to change everything. "You're right," I said quietly. "I should leave." She looked surprised. She wanted a fight, tears, begging. Instead, I calmly picked up my mom's ring, wiped it off, and slid it onto my finger. "That's it?" she asked, suspicious. "You're just going to walk away?" I looked up at the house one last time. "Yes, Victoria, I'm leaving, but we'll talk again soon." She slammed the door behind me as I walked to my car. Thunder rumbled as I drove away, leaving my things behind in the rain. What she didn't know was that I wasn't just walking away. I was getting ready to fight back. The cameras had recorded everything. Her sneaky late-night visits. Her telling the housekeeper how to get into my computer. The man who forged my signature on the prenup. Most importantly, they recorded her talking about the divorce papers, papers I hadn't even seen. But now I had proof they were fake. I drove through the rain to the small apartment I secretly rented last week after seeing the first batch of footage. Once inside, I opened my laptop and connected to the security system. The cameras were still running. On the screen, I saw Victoria smiling as she made a phone call. "It's done," she said. She fell for it. Once James announces his engagement to Sophia next week, she can't do anything. Sophia, the secretary Victoria had personally hired 3 months ago. Now, the puzzle pieces were coming together. I picked up my phone and called a number I'd saved weeks ago. "Diana, it's Emma. I think it's time we had that meeting." "Yes, I have the proof. Everything you suspected about Victoria and the company money. I can show it all." Diana, one of the senior partners at James's firm, had approached me last month. She thought someone was stealing from the company but had no evidence. Now we had plenty. I ended the call and looked at my reflection in the window. I didn't see a broken woman. I saw someone ready to fight back. Victoria thought she won. She thought she got rid of the daughter-in-law she hated. But she had no idea that her little performance tonight had just started her downfall. I started downloading the security footage. It was time to show the world who Victoria Bennett really was. The next morning, I met Diana at a small cafe, far from the office. Her face was serious as she watched the security footage on my laptop. One video showed Victoria sneaking into my home office late at night with Sophia, guiding her through my files. "She's been planning this for months," Diana said, pausing the video. "She used your login to steal private client information. She's even changed company records." She shook her head, shocked. "And there's more," I said, clicking on another video. In it, Victoria was in my kitchen at 3 a.m. with a man. practicing my signature. She faked my name on a bunch of documents. One of them is the prenup. Diana frowned. A prenup that suddenly shows up 8 years into the marriage? That's not legal. I nodded, sipping my cold coffee. She told James I signed it before our wedding. Said it had just been lost all this time. And of course, he believed her. He always believes her. The footage showed Victoria running what looked like a secret business operation, right from my house. Every clip was clear, with time and date stamps, thanks to the security system I'd set up. What made you put up cameras? Diana asked, still watching. 6 weeks ago, I noticed changes in some client files I've been working on. I said, small things, but I always double-check everything. Then I found out my passwords had been changed. Diana nodded. That's when we saw strange things in the company's finances too. Exactly, I said. Then Victoria started coming by when James was out, pretending to bring food or check on me. But she'd always hang around my office, trying to see what I was doing. The cafe was getting busy with lunch customers. Diana closed my laptop and leaned in. Emma, this isn't just family drama anymore. This is serious. Fraud, identity theft, forgery. I know, I said softly, and I think it goes deeper. She's been pushing James to become CEO ever since you said you were retiring. Now it all makes sense. Diana's face turned cold. They want him in charge before anyone finds the missing money. With Sophia by his side, they could hide everything, I said. Unless we stop them first. Diana stood up, grabbing her bag. Give me 24 hours to get the legal team ready. Don't let Victoria know anything. Let her think she's already won. Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from James. We need to talk about you picking up your things. I showed Diana. She gave a grim smile. Perfect. Keep playing along. Let them think you're heartbroken and helpless. I typed out a shaky message. Please, can we work this out? I still love you. Good, Diana said, reading it. Overconfident people make mistakes. After she left, I sat in a cafe a while longer, watching happy families and couples around me. 8 years of marriage gone just like that. Or maybe it had been falling apart for a long time, and I just hadn't wanted to see it. Another message buzzed on my phone, this one from Victoria. Don't bother trying to contact James. He's busy planning his future with someone worthy of the Bennett name. I could almost hear her smug voice in those words. But she had no idea. I was planning too. Back at my temporary apartment, I spent the afternoon going through more footage. Something about Victoria's late-night visits didn't sit right with me. I watched closely, again and again. Then I saw it. In one video, Victoria showed her secret visitor some papers. The camera caught our reflection in the kitchen window. A logo, one I recognized. It belonged to one of our biggest business competitors. My hands shook as I zoomed in. This wasn't just about stealing from the company or breaking up my marriage. Victoria was selling company secrets. I grabbed my phone and called Diana. I found something else, I said quickly. It's worse than we thought. She told me to meet her in an hour. Be careful, Emma. If Victoria finds out what you know. I looked around my apartment, suddenly uneasy. I will. See you soon. Just before I left, another text came through from James. I'm sorry it had to end this way. Mother says you'll get the papers tomorrow. Please don't make this difficult. I stared at it for a moment. I felt angry, sad, but more than anything, I felt ready. Oh, James, I whispered. I'm not going to make this difficult. I'm going to make it impossible. I grabbed my keys and walked out the door. It was time for the Bennetts to see exactly who they were dealing with. The next morning, everything changed. I sat in Diana's office alongside her legal team, watching as Victoria and James were escorted in by security. Victoria's usual confident smirk faltered when she saw me. What is she doing here? Victoria demanded, her voice sharp. James, we should leave. Actually, Diana said, standing up, you both need to stay. Emma has something interesting to show you. I connected my laptop to the conference room screen. Victoria's face drained of color as the first video began playing. Her midnight meeting with our competitor's representative, clearly showing her handing over confidential documents. Turn that off, she shrieked, but James held up his hand, his eyes glued to the screen. Mother, he whispered, what did you do? More clips played. Victoria forging my signature, coaching Sophia on accessing secure files, bragging about framing me for corporate espionage. Each video was damning, each timestamp irrefutable. It's all fake, Victoria protested weakly. She's trying to destroy our family. Like you destroyed our marriage? I asked quietly. Or how about the $2 million you embezzled through fake accounts in my name? James sank into a chair, his face ashen. The prenup, the missing funds, it was all you? Diana stepped forward. We've already contacted the authorities. They're very interested in these recordings, especially the parts about selling corporate secrets. Victoria's composure cracked completely. James, you can't let them do this. I did it all for you, for your future. But James wasn't looking at his mother anymore. He was looking at me, really seeing me perhaps for the first time in years. Emma, he started, but I cut him off. Save it, James. You chose to believe her over me. You were going to let her destroy me without even asking for my side. Diana's legal team presented the evidence. Documented fraud, corporate espionage, forged signatures. Victoria's scheme unraveled spectacularly in that conference room. Officers are waiting downstairs, Diana announced. Victoria, you can either go quietly or we can make this very public. Victoria looked around wildly, like a cornered animal. Then she did something unexpected. She laughed. You think you've won, she sneered at me. You've got nothing. It's your word against mine, and the Bennett name still means something in this town. I smiled calmly. Actually, Victoria, it's not my word. It's yours. Every confession, every scheme, every threat, all recorded in perfect HD quality. The police led Victoria away in handcuffs, her threats echoing down the hallway. James remained behind, looking lost. The divorce papers, he said finally. They weren't real, were they? No, I replied. But don't worry. The real ones will be on your desk this afternoon. 6 months later, I sat in my new office at the firm, now serving as head of legal compliance, a position Diana created specifically to prevent future fraud attempts. Victoria was serving time for corporate espionage and fraud. Sophie had turned state's evidence, revealing even more of Victoria's schemes. James tried to apologize, sent letters begging for reconciliation. But some betrayals can't be undone. The divorce was finalized quietly, and with Diana's help, I received a fair settlement. My security cameras had caught one final scene the night Victoria threw me out. Her confession to James about their plans, his weak protests, his ultimate surrender to her demands. It helped me understand that I hadn't just lost a husband. I'd never really had one. He'd always belonged to Victoria first. Ready for the board meeting? Diana asked, poking her head into my office. I gathered my files and smiled. Ready. As we walked to the conference room, I caught my reflection in a window. The woman looking back wasn't a victim or a pushover. She was a survivor who turned the tables on those who tried to destroy her. Victoria thought she could take everything from me that night in the rain. Instead, she lost everything herself. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting stronger. The security cameras didn't just save my reputation. They showed me who I really was. And that woman, she was just getting started.